Do consumers rely on their activities to construct their identity? If yes, what drives consumer activity identification and what impact does it have on brand loyalty? In order to answer these important questions, we implemented two different surveys to discover some antecedents and outcomes of consumer activity identification. Study 1 surveyed 179 people and found consumer activity identification leads to higher consumer brand identification, and it is through brand identification that brand loyalty improves. Our next study surveyed 172 people to discover that activities that offer social benefits, such as feeling in kinship with others, increases consumer activity identification. Moreover, activities that offer social benefits decreases consumer brand identification. This suggests that when consumers enjoy the social benefits from activity engagement, they prefer to use the activity to construct their identity instead of the brand. Overall, across two studies, we find that consumers who identify with an activity are more likely to identify with a brand used within the activity, and then brand loyalty increases. In conclusion, while developing consumer activity identification may not directly impact brand loyalty, it was found to have an indirect impact through consumer brand identification. Accordingly, managers are encouraged to promote their brands as activity facilitators. In this way, as consumer activity identification develops, so too does consumer brand identification, and then brand loyalty develops. Theoretically, by demonstrating that activities are not symbolically neutral, but instead provide important identity-relevant values, this research extends the identification literature to include activities. Accordingly, this work extends conspicuous consumption literature to include the consumption activity itself and not just the object or brand being used. Lastly, to the best of our knowledge, this is the first study to investigate consumer activity identification. Although this is an important contribution to marketing, it is just a first step and more work still needs to be done in understanding the consumer activity relationship.